Hey guys, welcome to my workshop. So today I'm going to make a stool for my little girl. You know, she's starting to grow up and she needs to reach certain things that she can't just reach on her own. And so I'm going to make a stool that's got two steps, 5 inches apart. The top's going to be 10 because that's exactly what I need. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and hopefully you can follow along and maybe make this if you need it yourself. So let's get started. Well, I did some experimenting. I don't know if you could tell in the camera, but this is essentially the side profile. The floor is going to be here, so you have your floor here. Now I'm going to have these boards that I've already sort of cut. I've had these left over from something else. They're going to rest on the tops. So the top one will be here. Once we cut this out, this will set on there as well. They're going to make, it's going to basically be 5 inches from the top, 5 inches from each other as well. Instead of coming and having a straight cut, I decided to do an angle cut in the back, primarily because my idea is if my daughter's standing on the top here and she's trying to turn around and sit down, she might be, you know, getting too close to this edge, and being that there's no strength or there's not as much support here, she might want to tip over. So by cutting an angle, I'm kind of creating a little bit more strength. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out because I already drew it. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw another one just like it. So I'm going to make a line here so I can go ahead and cut this off. And then we'll mark this up and I'll explain all my measurements if you're wanting to follow along and maybe make this for yourself or for your daughter. Here we go. My first one is going to be 10 inches off. So let's just start back. Let's rewind. This board is a 1x10, although technically it's more about a 9 3/4 by 3/4. So we are going to measure 10 inches off and then make a square line with it. And the best way to do that is put your pencil on the mark you make, bring your measuring device up to it, and then go back and forth. That way you ensure you get the measurement you actually want. Alright, so we got that set away. The next measurement we want is the height of the steps. Now I said we were going to go with 5-inch steps, so we want to go with 4 1/4. Double check that. Yep. And then our cut here is going to be 5 inches. And the reason for that is these boards are 5.5. They're technically 1x6s. Same problem. They're always smaller. It's 3/4 inch by 5.5. So 5 is going to give us 1/2 inch overlay, or overlap, I should say. Now we make another line over to the other. And then up here we can simply just bring it down. Same thing, bring our measuring device up to the pencil, make a line. And that's the basis of it. But then the next step is to create the angle. So for the angle, I've measured 1 inch off and then 1 inch up. And then using a scrap piece of wood or your measuring device, just find your 2 points, which we're looking at the point from what we just made all the way up to where we made our original mark all the way at the top. So we find that point and then score a line with our pencil. I always try to rotate the pencil as I'm making a line. It gives a really thick, nice line, and it helps keep your pencil sharp. And then I'll cut this out on the table saw, cut as much as I can, and then I'll have to finish it up on the bandsaw. I just want to make sure both these boards are the same. We hide them together and they're pretty close. They're maybe not exactly, and honestly it's not that big of a deal. So you know, one of the things that you end up sacrificing when you use scrap wood is that there's always defects, there's always nasty things. There was actually tape on this one. I didn't even realize it because I wasn't on this side. Thankfully it's coming off okay, and it's not leaving the residues. So thankfully that's not bad. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to take these to the router table. We're going to do some rounding over. Now I'm not going to round over all the edges, mainly the edges that are going to be exposed. So, for instance, the fronts. The fronts will be exposed and the back will be exposed. The bottom I want to keep flush. I might chamfer these edges just a little bit just to protect them, because with them being sharp there's going to be a tendency to have a splinter come off. So we'll chamfer them with my little hand plane. Up the top we'll keep them pretty much flat. These here are probably going to be a little tricky, because when we come down on a round over, when we come to the bottom here, I'll show you an example. So just as an example, here's our step. See what we have. It's going to meet in there really nicely, but if we do a round over all the way to the bottom, this is not going to look very good. So essentially what we really want to do is make it only come down to where the top of this step is. So we'll make a little line as a reference, so we know we don't want to go any further than that. And I'll make a line on the other one as well. And since we're on a router, it wouldn't hurt to continue that line just a little bit on both sides, so that you know where to stop your router and don't go too far. Alright, well, we've got these cut, and see if you can tell here how I came down to that edge. You know, it ended up pretty close, pretty perfect. What I'll do at the end is just take a knife and kind of smooth those transitions off a little bit. But those are pretty good, besides some lighter sanding. And so I switched out my stairs, my step boards with this better piece of pine that I have. There's no knots in it, so I'd rather have something like this. Now so I originally was thinking 12 inches because you know, someone standing on this, they need the space, but I'm kind of thinking 12 might be too big. So if I stuck with 10 inches, that's not bad. 12 inches though, almost too big. 11 is actually not too bad. So I think we'll do 11 inches. Alright, well, I have decided to join these together using pocket holes. I'm not normally a huge fan of pocket holes, but the main reason why I decided to go this option was because the grain that I'm using is not probably the best grain to be attaching something to. If I put glue there, it's going to work, but not probably be the strongest, and so I've decided to screw them as well as put some glue just as added strength. What I'm using is this Craig jig I got for Christmas, and I've really not had the opportunity to use it to this level yet. I'm pretty excited. For a long time I've just been using the basic entry level one that you can get to start off with. I do end up using both of them. I cannot use it with these. Obviously I can't set it in my jig, but these were fine. So I had to use a combination of both to accomplish the pocket hole. So to attach these, I'm going to go ahead and set this and drill them in, but if you remember I mentioned I wanted this to overhang a ½ inch off, just like the front. So I have these strips of wood that are the same as that. What I'm going to do simply put them underneath this board to hold them off that distance, so then I can drill my screws in and they're not going to go anywhere. Well, I have this all done now. Everything's painted, it's dry, it looks really cool. I'm really excited about how this turned out. I think my daughter is going to absolutely love it. She can do so many more things now because she can step up versus having to try to step on one big step. So I'm really excited. Can't wait for her to see it today. I'm going to get to show it to her today. So if you found this interesting and you liked this and you decided to maybe try to make this, or maybe you already followed along making this, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and to leave me a comment below. You can go to my Facebook, even send me a picture of it if you did your own version of it. You could do, like I said before, you can do so many different things with this. I even thought about leaving the steps stained, but I just think for my daughter it would have just been something I think it just wouldn't matter. So I went ahead and painted it, and I'm really glad it did. It just looks really nice. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel here and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I post things on them frequently as well that are different from my YouTube channel. So I really hope you found this exciting, and I hope to see you next time. So thank you for watching.